Hey guys, my name is Kendrick Uy and welcome to Travel and Live Free. In this video, I got a chance to interview one of the best Canadian points and miles blogger, Ricky Zhang, the Prince of Travel himself. And in this interview, he covers how you can go from a beginner to an intermediate, from an intermediate to advanced, and to advanced to expert level in this points and miles game. On top of that, he also talks about ways that you can use points and miles to save yourself on travel that you might not even think about, such as taking the Trans-Siberian Rail, for example. So go ahead and watch this video all the way to the end, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below, and I'll see you in there. Hey guys, welcome to Travel and Live Free. My name is Kendrick Uy, and today I'm interviewing Mr. Prince of Travel himself, Ricky Zhang. So Ricky, welcome. How are you doing, man?
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, for sure. So for those who doesn't know who you are, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, about how you got started with the points and miles thing, and just a little bit more about yourself, like who you are and what do you do for your day-to-day life?
Sure. My name is Ricky. I run a website called Prince of Travel, and it's all about teaching Canadians how to use their points to travel the world. Leverage your credit card rewards points, airline loyalty programs, and hotel points in order to make your travel goals a reality. So I've been doing this myself for a couple of years now, and it's been a really fruitful labor that I've put into this art of traveling the world on points, and I'm here to share with you on my website how all of you can do the same.
So tell us about your background, like what do you do on a regular day when you're not doing points and mile stuff?
Sure. I was born here in Vancouver. I moved back to Asia at a young age, and then I came back to Toronto for university. And after working for a bit, I discovered that I'm really into travel, and I love to do it at a low cost, and ideally in luxurious surroundings, so business class, first class. And so that's how I got started with Prince of Travel and the website. On a regular day, if I'm not working on the website, I'll probably be watching sports like football, soccer, or I'll probably be hitting the slopes, skiing. I do love skiing, and I do love traveling to different parts of the world to ski as well.
How did you end up living in Toronto if you were from Vancouver originally?
Well, yeah, we moved back to Asia when I was really, really young, and I grew up there. I spent my high school, completed my high school there, and then I went back to University of Toronto to complete my university. And I guess I just stayed there after a bit and enjoyed living there, and so I started working there, and now I've left my job to work on Prince of Travel on a full-time basis.
Oh, really? You're doing Prince of Travel full-time now? You're no longer...
Yeah, absolutely. Earlier this year, actually, it was when I stopped working at my office job that I had and starting to work on the website.
Wow.
For real. Yeah.
Good work, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
A lot of risk, but I think it's gonna pay off in the future.
I think so. I mean, I was comfortable with it at the time, and I think it's going places.
Awesome, dude. So how did you get started with the points and miles thing? Because you said you enjoyed traveling, but how did you discover it in the first place?
Yeah, there was a time when I was flying back home to China to visit my family a lot. And I had discovered this thing called airline status, which is if you fly a lot and you get a certain level with the airline frequent flyer program, you get to do cool things like go to the lounge before your flight, priority boarding, priority check-in. And it was back in 2013 when I saw this golden opportunity to get airline status with Air Canada in the Star Alliance, and so I took advantage of that. And that brought me to the whole world of blogs and forums on this topic. Flyer Talk is the big one, and also a few of the blogs on boardingarea.com. And from there, it just sort of spiraled, right? I sort of got deeper and deeper into studying how these programs work, how you can earn a lot of points through credit cards, and I started doing that. And then I started using these credit card points to, redeem them for crazy flights that I never would have thought was possible. And now I've just taken that step further and further, and it's brought me here today.
Sweet, man. That sounds like a really good adventure that you had, trying to learn all this stuff.
Definitely.
Now, there was no way you were as good as you are now back then. Did you make any mistakes along the way when you were learning how to do all this points and mile stuff, redeeming it? Did you make any big mistakes that now you look back, it's like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that?
Yeah, so many. Anybody trying to grasp this stuff is bound to make beginner mistakes, right? I remember the second credit card I ever got was basically somebody like duped me into signing up for it.
Oh yeah.
Because I was just walking along the street, and there was this booth that said, here's like a bottle of Coke if you sign up for a credit card, right? Like something
Your
stupid
sign up
like
bonus
that.
was Coke.
It was something stupid like that,
Yeah.
or it was something even less than that. And I
Yeah.
just thought, I don't even think I realized it was a credit card, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I just signed up, and then I didn't even realize that, hey, that's going to be on my credit file, that in the future, if I want to get more credit cards, right, that's like, that was an inquiry to my credit file that might count against me.
Right.
And so, I had no idea. And so along the way, there were so many mistakes that I had made. I had in some programs, I let miles expire.
Oh, shoot.
Just didn't.
How much did you?
I had like 50,000 points in IHG rewards.
Yeah.
The hotel program.
Was that from the mailing
That was
program?
from the postcards. Yeah.
The postcard thing.
Funny story that. But yeah, I had 50,000 points that I just let expire, and they just boom gone. And I had gotten the email reminders too.
Yeah.
At the time, but I didn't do anything, and now they're gone. So.
Oh man,
classic mistake.
You missed out staying at the Bora Bora because that was
Absolutely.
perfect for the over the water.
Yeah, I
bungalows.
do. That's one of my biggest regrets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that card that you signed up in that random street, do you have it in your wall now as like a reminder? Oh.
No, it was a random like MBNA like university card.
Oh,
and
I see.
I since replaced it with an Alaska Airlines
Yeah.
mileage plan card, right? That gets me to like fly first class back to Asia. So
Gotcha.
that's much better.
So if you were to give an advice to a beginner,
Mhm.
let's say they were the same as you when you were that university kid who got tricked into signing up for this useless credit card,
Sure.
what advice would you give someone who's a beginner just trying to learn this and maybe they want to move on to become intermediate? So
Mhm.
what advice would you give them?
Well, I would say, there's so much to learn out there with regards to which credit cards are the best, which programs are best for your travel goals, and how you can use these points, how you can actually go about redeeming them. There's so much to learn. I would say go at your own pace, right? Don't be intimidated by everything that's out there. Go at your own pace, take it slow, learn a few new things a week, try a few new things when you do have the time to do it. And eventually, if you do dedicate more time to it, the rewards will come. But unfortunately, that's sort of the nature of the game, where you do have to put in that initial bit of time and effort in order to overcome the learning curve. And eventually, once you start to get the hang of it, once you do a few credit card signups, a few redeeming points for a few flights, you'll be able to quickly reproduce those results much more effectively, and you'll be able to learn the ropes a lot quicker.
Would you be able to give any specifics to a newbie who is a beginner? They say they don't know anything about this.
Mhm.
They only have one credit card
Sure.
that they've been using forever, and they want to get into the points and miles
Yeah.
thing that we're doing here.
Completely.
So which credit cards would you say they should get first as their first three, let's say?
So we do love the American Express cards here when we talk about this stuff, because American Express tends to give the highest bonuses out there,
Yeah.
compared to like say the big five banks, which tend to be a bit lower. So I would say if you have to pick three credit cards, go for American Express. I think Business Platinum, Business Gold, and the Gold Rewards card. Okay, so three credit cards. There's special offers out there right now that give you 75,000 points for the Business Platinum. There's a $399 annual fee on that one if you apply via Canada Post, which is the special offer. For the Business Gold as well, that's 40,000 for first year free, which is an excellent deal. And if you top that up with the Personal Gold Rewards card, that's another 25,000 points first year free. And if you add that all up, you've got 150,000 points, which is enough to go around the world in business class. So right off the bat, there's your starting strategy. Go get those three cards, fly around the world in business class, figure out how that works. There's plenty of resources to guide you online with Aeroplan and stuff. And soon, like once you're in the air, sitting in your bed, right, lying in your bed, drinking champagne, you'll start to understand how it all fits together.
So a lot of people who is watching this might be saying, yes, that's a really good idea, but there's an annual fee.
Mhm.
Like, how can you justify paying that annual fee to get a credit card, even though you have a sign-up bonus? That's something that I know a lot of people would
Right.
prevent them from getting that card to begin with because they're scared of that.
Yeah.
It's a big investment, you know, $399 for.
There's definitely a bit of a mental block with regards to annual fees.
Yeah.
Right. Those 3 credit cards I mentioned. The Business Platinum is the only one that has a first year annual fee, $399.
Yeah.
The other 2 have fee waivers for the first year. So
Which one? The American Express Gold?
the Business Gold and the Personal Gold.
Gotcha. Okay.
So through the special offers out there, so Canada Post offer and the Percopolis
Yes.
or CPA offers on the Gold Rewards card, you get the first year fee waiver. And so basically the only thing you have to pay, that $399 annual fee. But I know a lot of people, would ask, why would I pay that $399
Yeah. Why?
annual
Why
fee?
why should they?
Well, the answer is because that gets you a business class around the world ticket, which if you paid with cash would be, in the realm of $10,000 or $20,000. And so, if you even just think about an economy class ticket, right, round trip
Yes.
to another continent,
Yes.
say Europe or Asia or South America,
Right.
that can easily, in fact, almost certainly will be over $399
Right.
in cost. So already, if you're just redeeming for economy class, you're already coming out ahead. Of course, presuming that you want to travel in the first place, right? That's why people are watching this after all. But if you do fly business class, right,
Yeah.
you're overshooting that initial outlay by multiple times the reward that you're getting on the money that you put out there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's say that beginner has now become intermediate. So every year they're getting 3 cards, and maybe every 6 months they're getting 3 new cards. What advice would you give someone that's now in intermediate level going to advance? So now, as I mentioned, they're doing the credit card trick,
Sure.
the sign up bonuses and stuff. What can they do next? What should they do next?
I think the biggest jump from an intermediate, player in this game that
Yeah.
we play to an advanced player would be just the idea of testing things out for yourself, taking action, and putting trying things out for yourself instead of just following what's written online, right? Obviously, a lot of the information in this hobby comes from blogs such as my own,
Right.
as well as forums out there. But at some point, you have to start thinking about these things on your own, start formulating your own ideas, and see whether certain things might work or might not. So one example, for example, is product switching, right? So if you have a credit card, say with TD, and you want a different credit card within the same family, or you don't want to cancel your card even though the annual fee is coming up because you want to preserve your credit history, you can product switch to a different card within the same bank and get the sign-up bonus on that card without, closing this card and incurring the hit on your credit file. So that's something that originally, nowadays it's talked about all the time, but originally some people thought, there was the first person who thought, hey, I wonder if I can do that, right? I wonder if I can just switch within the same card family, get the bonus, and preserve my account. And it turns out it worked. Another example would be, if you already have a credit card, apply for a different copy of the same credit card again. See if that works. Sometimes it might, sometimes it might not.
A different copy of the same credit card.
Exactly.
What do you mean exactly?
Like, say I have the American Express Business Gold card.
Yeah.
Can I open another American Express Business Gold card
Right.
in my name as well, right? Somebody, these things that are sort of pushing the boundaries aren't always talked about online.
Right.
Because they're pushing the boundaries, right? And so a lot of the times it's about figuring things out for yourself. And if you can't figure it out yourself, then it's about talking to people and finding other people who are equally as passionate as you are and exchanging ideas.
It's funny you mentioned trying to sign up for the same credit card because I accidentally did that long time ago, where I signed up for the Alaska Airlines World Elite MasterCard.
Yeah.
And it never arrived in my mail, so I thought maybe I got rejected for my application. So I signed up again on the website, and I think 2 weeks later, I ended up getting the World Elite Alaska Airlines MasterCard and also the Platinum MasterCard. And I ended up getting points for both. Then the weird thing is I also called MBNA after to see. I asked them, I said, I got 2 cards. I mean, they're both MBNA Alaska. One is World Elite and one is Platinum. Should I cancel one of them? Because that's kind of weird that I have 2.
Hey,
and you know what they said to me on the phone? They said, well, sir, congratulations. It looks like you got the points for both cards.
Exactly.
Then that's right along the lines of what you're saying.
A lot of these things happen by accident, right? The first time.
Yeah.
And eventually they become known methods that people talk about out there. And so, if you don't want to accidentally be stumbling upon things,
Yeah.
one of the ways that I suggest to people is just to think of, what else could possibly work.
Yeah.
Try it out. There's rarely any harm in trying new things out, right?
Right.
At worst, you spend a credit card inquiry, but as we all know, if you manage your credit responsibly, the inquiries themselves don't matter as much. So, if you're wanting to apply for a different credit card, see if you'll get approved, go for it, and if it happens, you get the bonus. Wonderful. If not, no harm done.
So before I go on to the next question, I just want to segue a little bit
Sure.
because you started bringing up credit score.
Mhm.
So what if someone is afraid that their credit score is going to get hit negatively?
Mhm.
How can you get over that mental block that I don't want to get so many credit cards because my credit score is going to negatively get affected,
Mhm.
and I would like to buy a house one day?
Of course. I mean, it's all about knowledge, right? I think there's a lot of misconceptions about how credit score itself works.
Right.
People think about, opening, like I have probably 12 credit cards open right now. Other people who do this have like 20, 25 cards open at the same time. And a lot of people think about that and think, oh, your credit score must be terrible
Right.
because you've opened so many credit cards. But,
Right.
You've got to take the time to understand how a credit score works. And that's part of the learning process. That's one component of the things that you learn as a newbie to this stuff, is how the credit score actually gets calculated and why multiple applications in a short period might not necessarily have a negative effect, right? So if you do open a few credit cards in a short period, you do get a few credit inquiries from the financial institutions, and that can lower your score by a few points. However, if you were to handle that extra credit that you had responsibly, and that means not carrying a balance, not paying interest, making your payments on time, if you can demonstrate that all this extra credit you've received you can handle responsibly, then your credit score will actually increase as a result. And the responsible credit usage component of your credit score is worth, I think, 30% of the whole score, whereas the number of inquiries is worth like 10%.
Right.
So you see where I'm going with this. If you do apply for extra credit cards, that 10% might decrease a little bit, but that 30%, providing that you do handle the credit responsibly, will increase. And so overall, you might even see an increase in your credit score as a result of doing all this, provided that you do it right.
So if you do it right, not only do you reap the benefit of awesome travel, your credit score can actually go up.
It could, yeah.
Yeah.
It's commonplace to see that among people who do this.
Great. Now, moving on to the next question here. Let's say they are now advanced and they want to go to expert level.
Right.
What kind of advice would you give them to get to that level where they are now an expert in this game? And where would they look to learn more about how to become an expert, or maybe to become even more creative? Because a lot of the bridge between intermediate and advanced is just creativity and kind of figuring out how can I expand on what I already know that I can't find online.
Yeah,
So now they want to
absolutely.
become an expert. So what can they do?
I think the key difference maker here is having a wide network, right, of other people who are also around the same level as you are. So if you are advanced, trying to get to expert, these are just like words that we made up to describe people at different levels.
Right,
But
right. Fair enough.
if you do want to take your game to a higher level, you got to find other people who are doing similar things as you, who are also, constantly trying to figure out new ways to earn points and redeem points, who are also passionate about traveling and about using points for travel. And you got to make friends with them, right? You got to have a close network of people who are willing to share information with you and with whom you're willing to share information, right? Once that trust has been established, and once, this whole network recognizes that everybody is here to help everybody else out, then the information really starts to flow. And when I say information, I'm talking about things that don't get posted on the blogs and forums, right?
Right.
There's always deals that are really, really good that everybody should take advantage of, and that they were intended to be really, really good, and so people post about them. And there's also deals that are so good and that would be so beneficial, but they're clearly not intended to be that way. It's either an oversight or a loophole or something like that.
Right.
And in that case, people don't tend to talk about them online, because the idea is that if it spreads too far, the deal might get closed or
Right.
killed. Right.
That makes sense.
And so instead, people share them with their network, with their circle of friends, who they think would also benefit from this.
Right.
And so I think that's definitely for me personally, the number one difference maker for taking my game from like a level where I was able to travel, say, once or twice a year in business class, to a level where I can travel as much as I want, and that 5 or 10 trips a year in business and first class on points. And the best way to develop a network like that is to attend, meetups, events, get-togethers of the points community that we have regularly here in Canada these days. Yeah.
So Ricky, it's good that you mentioned that because I remember going to an event called Points U, and my first time going there, I made so many friends who are now sharing information with me, which is amazing. Now I have people I can talk to and bounce ideas with.
Yeah.
Now, I want to segue to you in a sense that aren't you running meetups on a regular basis now so people can come out there and meet people there and potentially build their own little mastermind group?
So I mean, as part of Prince of Travel, as part of helping Canadians travel the world using their points, one of the things I do is organize local meetups every now and then in the community. So I've done 2 in Toronto so far. I did one in 2017, one earlier this year, and right now actually we're doing the Vancouver meetup for the first time ever here at the Sheraton Wall Center in Vancouver. And so yeah, the idea for me is to always bring people together, right? People email me all the time on the website, right? People are reading the articles, they're engaging with it, they're deriving benefits from it, and not only are they able to take these awesome trips for themselves, but I think they would really benefit from meeting everybody else who's passionate about the same thing, and that, like I said, helps you take your game to the next level. And so that's sort of what motivates me to host these events I would say every few months, because they do take quite a bit of work to put on.
Right.
But yeah, every now and then I try to bring people together with some food and drinks, have a good time, and make some new friends.
I think, Ricky, what sets you apart from many points and miles blogger out there is that you're a really nice guy. It's actually been complimented. I don't know if you've heard of this, but a lot of people say you're really nice, approachable, easy to talk to, and that's one of your strengths that I don't know if you've heard anyone say to you before, but that's actually one of the things that I hear when I was at the last Points U was that people were saying, Ricky, what do we like about Ricky? He's actually nice, it's easy to talk to. He's not trying to talk in riddles, he actually just tells you what's up.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, and I've heard some feedback like that from my readers, and genuinely, I think it comes from a place of, I'm pretty amazed that I get to travel the world on points. Like, it's a pretty awesome and crazy idea, right? That it's kind of strange that it even exists.
Right.
If you think about it, like,
yeah.
why have these banks and airlines and hotels created this little ecosystem in which we're able to thrive, right? And that's genuinely an amazing thing that I've benefited from, and I think it's, it comes from the heart. I want to spread that to other people, right? I want other people to be able to benefit and experience the same unforgettable things that I have. And so that, I think, comes across in my blog and the website. And whenever I try to do these meetups, right, people pay money to attend these, because I'm trying to cover the cost of these events.
Trying to break even
at least.
Yeah.
And people have paid money to attend these, so I try to make it worth their while, right?
Right.
And I think throughout the blogging community, throughout the online communities, sometimes we take that idea of not wanting to share too much. Sometimes we take that idea too far, right? There's always a line in terms of what can be shared online so that it won't get killed versus a deal that is actually going to benefit everybody and won't get killed if you share it online. So, for me, I try to respect that line while also giving the readers as much as I can.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I really like your abundance mentality where there is plenty enough to share that you don't need to kill the important things. And by all means, if they ask you in person and you've already built that relationship with them, you would, why not share?
Totally, that's a good point. Like, attending one of these events, and whenever I get to meet a reader that I haven't actually met before, that's a personal relationship right there, right? And I can see that this person is clearly passionate about traveling the world. They are eager to learn more. They've put in the work, the groundwork to get to a certain level.
Ricky,
they're attending here to
now we talked about
get
kind of like the timeline of someone.
And when I see that, I'm more keen to share with them something that I might not necessarily post online, right?
We're doing
because
to just
I know
help
that
everyone travel to all their favorite dream destination. But there's always going to be people out there who don't want to climb these ranks. They
That's-
don't
yeah,
really
basically
care
how
about
it
it
is. When I do
because
these
they're
meetups,
so
I tend
afraid that
to be quite
if they do it, then something bad is going to happen, even though you've already addressed all the obstacles that they have. So I'm just going to call these individuals vanilla points and miles collectors. And there's a lot of people there who just likes it vanilla.
Sure.
So for these individuals,
Totally.
let's say they only want to get 2 credit cards during their entire lifetime and they're never going to cancel it. Do you have any recommendation for these people who are more on the conservative side of things?
I mean, I've never really given much thought to that, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I guess if you want to do that, right? If you combine a good miles earning credit card with a good cashback earning credit card, I think that would do like just fine, right?
Right.
I'm actually not really familiar with the cashback credit cards out there.
Right.
Like I think there's one that gives you 1.75% on all purchases.
Okay, which
And
one is
that's
that?
I don't know. Like Rogers? Is that? Do you know?
I don't know. I know for a fact that Scotia has some pretty good cashback credit cards.
Do they have anything beating 1.75%?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you can find like 1.75% or 2% on all purchases in terms of cashback, that's pretty good. I would say like that's a good card to use just on basically every transaction because you're just getting 2% back on all your purchases, which is excellent. And if you wanted to combine that with a miles earning credit card, then you could, when you do earn those miles, and when you do eventually, like years down the line, earn enough miles to actually use for a flight, and if you just think about regular spending, and you get like 1 or 1.5 miles per dollar spent, then it's going to take you a while to accumulate enough miles
Right.
to redeem for a flight, right? But when you do get there, and you're able to take advantage of the frequent flyer programs and the sweet spots that we do have, then that could work out in your favor too.
So let me ask you a question in regards to this then. Do you ever do any strategic spending in the sense that, not strategic in the sense that you're trying to hit all the minimum spend, but just strategic where you get double the miles or triple the miles if you funnel your card in this specific card? Let's say for groceries you use this card, for gasoline you use this card. Do you ever do that? Or
Yeah, so that's a good question as well. And there's definitely a case to be made that in addition to focusing on the bonuses that you get when opening a card, you should also focus on the miles you get, in like maximizing the miles you get in terms of every purchase, right? But I think that will require, at least in the optimal scenario, more than 2 credit cards in order to have a complete set.
Right.
Anyway, in my case, when it's groceries or dining,
Right.
I use my Cobalt,
Okay.
American Express Cobalt card,
Yeah.
because that gives you 5 times the points
Right.
in those categories, which is a spectacular return. On the other hand, if it's travel purchases, I might use my American Express Gold card because that gets you 2 times the points on any travel purchase, so flights, hotels, car rentals, vacations, etc. And then I'll have as my general card, right? For any sort of non-bonus spending, I'll probably use either the Platinum card or the Business Platinum because that gives you 1.25 on any purchase. And then I'll combine that with like a Visa or MasterCard because not every place takes Amex
Right.
at the end of the day, right? So I'll use like my Alaska MasterCard or my CIBC Aeroplan just to get some more miles going when I have to pay with a Visa.
That's a non-Amex card.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's go segue to American Express.
Sure.
That's going to be the biggest complaints that a lot of people will have, is that a lot of places don't take American Express. So how can I hit the minimum spend requirements when I can't even use it on places like Superstore, for example? So how can they, what recommendation would you give to help people meet their minimum spend requirements when they don't even spend that much every month?
Right. Yeah. There's a few good ways to do so. I mean, there's a lot of retailers out there. If they don't take American Express, they might have gift cards that you can buy at places that do take American Express. So by doing that, like by going to say Safeway, to use a local example, and paying with your American Express for a gift card at a store that doesn't usually take American Express, you're essentially transferring the spending onto your American Express card, right? And using that to help meet the spending threshold on your card. Other ways that you could meet the spending include, prepaying your bills. Like if you have a cell phone, internet, home TV, you can pay a few months in advance, and that'll take care of a good chunk of your spending threshold. Alternatively, there's bill payment services out there that let you use credit cards to pay stuff that you normally can't use credit cards for, like rent, like taxes, like tuition. So I think Plastique.
Plastique, okay.
Plastique.com. So it's plastic with a Q.com is one of the best services in that regard. You're gonna have to pay those bills anyway out of your bank account. So by using a service like that, you can actually earn points on your credit card and use it towards your spending threshold.
Besides Plastique, is there any other services that they can use to pay bills or utilities that would normally not accept Amex?
Amex wise, I think Plastique is the only one.
Is there another one, Paytm or something? Is that still valid?
Yeah, but they have like a 3% fee on Amex these days.
Oh, I see.
So
it's not as good as Paytm in terms of paying your bills.
Unfortunately, they used to have zero fees on all credit cards, but
Right.
now it's only good for MasterCard, which is a shame because it was good while it lasted.
And for Plastique, how much percentage would they charge?
So they normally do 2.5%,
Uh-huh.
which is a small price to pay if you are trying to get that bonus, trying to meet that threshold and get like the large bonus at the beginning. But otherwise, if you do, but otherwise, they also have this thing called fee-free dollars. So if you have 1,000 fee-free dollars, you can use Plastique and pay this bill without having to pay the transaction fee on the $1,000.
And how do people get the fee-free dollars? Like how can they get that?
Well, one of the good ways is by referring your friends to the service.
Right.
So if you refer a friend, I think you get 1,000 fee-free dollars, and that's all good.
So that's actually one of the benefits of coming to events like this, events that Ricky would run,
Yeah.
is that you meet people and you can kind of bounce referrals to each other, and that's a
Yeah.
good way for you to also reap the benefit of getting fee-free dollars or even credit card referral bonuses.
Yeah.
Right. So Ricky, before the interview, you mentioned that you're planning on going full-time with Prince of Travel.
Mhm.
What made you decide to go full-time with your blogging instead of getting a regular job like everyone else?
Well, first of all, I'd say like the idea of a regular job is, not everybody has a regular job, right? There's plenty of people who are trying to do an online business, right? Do a website, trying to make a real go of it out there. And I saw these people and I thought, why not do the same, right?
Right.
Because like I look at my life right now and it's, I pinch myself because it's pretty amazing that my job is to basically help Canadians, do the same thing I do, travel the world on points, and I go ahead and review my own travels, help them make decisions, and I just thought it would be awesome if it works out. Why not give it a go?
Right. I guess
Yeah.
the worst case scenario is you can always go back to your job if
Yeah, if
If you
worst
don't- if it
comes to
doesn't work
worst,
out,
I'll
yeah.
I'll find something else to do.
Yeah.
That's basically how anything works when you're taking a big leap like this, right?
right.
Okay.
Now let's talk about travel.
Sure.
You've traveled to many places around the world. How many
Mhm.
countries have you been to?
I think I'm at 38.
38?
Yeah.
And what is your goal? Like, do you have a bucket list that you wanna
Um,
hit, or
I would say obviously like 193 is the big number, but I'm also not like that's not my be all end all, right?
Right.
I know I'll get there eventually, but I'm not gonna rush things just so that I can check the countries off a list, right? So some people if you're swinging by a border with another country and you dip your toes into the border, it kind of counts as you've been there, but at the same time, like, does it really count? That's what I always ask myself, and so my goal is just to see, go where I want to go, see what I want to see, and eventually, the ultimate goal, which is completely out of reach, is to, go to everywhere. But it'll take me time, definitely.
well, I'm guilty of being that person
You're
who
guilty of
actually
it.
going over the border and coming back and counting that as a country. I've done that
That doesn't count.
probably just with one hand. I've done it a few
I don't
times.
know if that counts, honestly.
Well, there's a line in the country if you're inside. But I get your point, and
Uh-huh.
I'm definitely going to be following your philosophy a little bit more, and I'll definitely go back to those countries where I hopped in and hopped back
Yeah,
out.
well, that's the thing. Like, you can count it, but you got to go back to see it.
I gotta go
properly.
back. You're right. You're
Yeah.
completely correct. Now, of all the countries you've been to, what was your
Mhm.
favorite?
I don't know if I can really pick a favorite.
You can pick a
honestly.
few.
I would say I really enjoyed. I really like South America.
Yeah.
I went to Brazil in 2014 for the World Cup then, and
Yeah.
I went back to Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay this year,
Mhm.
and I had a great time. I think they really know how to live their life down there, and I think it's just always such a pleasure to go back and to take it easy. People like to enjoy life at their own pace there, and I think it's awesome to immerse myself in that. earlier this year, I also went to Russia for the World Cup.
Nice.
World Cup 2018.
So you're a big soccer fan then?
I'm a huge soccer fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Try to go to every World Cup every 4 years from
Yeah.
now on. But I thought Russia was interesting because, we hear a lot about Russia here in the West.
Right.
And it's often like not very positive things.
Right.
But when you actually go there and see, how diverse the country is, I took the Trans-Siberian Railway all the way across the country, right? So I managed to bear witness to how large of a country it is and how many different things that are going on inside. And so, it was good to see with my own eyes and I guess abolish some of my preconceived notions about the country, and I really enjoyed my time there.
Now, when you took the Trans-Siberian Rail, I guess you couldn't use the points for that, right?
Well, not in the traditional sense, right?
Right.
The only way I could do it was basically, booking the trains and then using like one-to-one points. Some points you can just use them as at a one-to-one ratio
Yeah.
to offset any travel cost.
So you could book it with American Express for the Trans-Siberian Rail?
Yeah. So depending on which booking service you used.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good to know.
You had to link it to, it was like a Russian Railways website.
Yeah.
But they took PayPal.
Oh,
So PayPal can use American
So you
Express.
pay with
right?
PayPal.
So you do it that way.
that's very interesting. So
Yeah,
that's
totally.
another trick that most people don't think about, is that not just when you're booking your points and miles, you can also use the points itself to cover the cost of the dollar spent.
Absolutely.
So that's a very good idea. Now, let me ask you, what is your favorite frequent flyer program?
I would say I use Aeroplan the most.
Yeah.
And that's because Aeroplan partners with Star Alliance. Star Alliance has a huge route network all over the globe. Can
Yeah.
basically get you anywhere you want to go. And Aeroplan lets you have like stopovers, right?
Yeah.
You can go to one place, stop there for a while, go to your next destination, stop there, do a third place, all for the same price as just going to one place. So to me, that's like an insane like piece of value that has to be captured, right? Because it's just, if you were to buy tickets with cash, like regular plane tickets, it's pretty hard to accomplish that. It's pretty hard to string, say, I don't know, Kenya and Estonia and New Zealand in one trip.
Right.
Whereas with Aeroplan, you can do that, and you can fly business class if you want. You can fly first class if you want. So to me, the versatility of the Aeroplan program makes it my preferred choice. You always hear about people complaining about Aeroplan, saying like, there's so many fees and it's so hard to use your points.
Yeah.
But the idea is that you have to learn how the program works best, how it can work best for you, understand the sweet spots, and once you have a deep understanding of the program, you can do some truly incredible things.
So as long as people know the sweet spots, they won't be paying hefty carrier fees then.
Exactly.
Right. Now, with that being said, this technique that you're talking about is the Aeroplan Mini around the world.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, you were actually famous as the Aeroplan guy because
Is that the case?
you posted so many Aeroplan Mini around the world articles at one point. Like you just went after one after another, and you kind of create a reputation for yourself as the Aeroplan guy.
I think there wasn't enough coverage about just the sheer
Yeah.
volume of crazy things you could do with Aeroplan. Like
Yeah.
next year, I'm going to Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana,
Yeah.
Turkey, Singapore.
Right.
Sorry, I said Turkey. Yeah, Turkey, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand.
Right.
Back to Singapore, back to Beijing for Chinese New Year,
Uh-huh.
and then the island hopper through
Yeah.
Micronesia
Yes.
and Marshall Islands.
Yes.
And then Hawaii.
Yeah.
All in one trip. So that's 16 flights all in total, and that was, I paid like 160,000 miles for business class.
Right.
Which is, a few credit cards.
Yeah.
Gets you done right there. But I also paid like $300 in fees, and that was it. And it just does not compare to what you would get if you try to use cash to book a trip like that, right?
How much do you think that would have been if you paid off pocket?
I don't know.
Like if you throw in a guess, like
At least 15,000.
15 grand?
Yeah.
So he paid $300 for a 15 grand itinerary.
That's the idea, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing we like to talk about is how much this would have cost if paid with cash, because it really highlights just the extraordinary things that you can do with Aeroplan.
Now, in 2020, Air Canada is reacquiring Aeroplan apparently. Are you scared they're going to take away this Aeroplan Meet around the world?
I think so. I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
And that's why, one, I think we all need to do everything we can to maximize this before June 2020. I believe you can book trips up until June 2020, right? So
Yeah.
you can
one
plan
year,
travel,
1 year ahead. Yeah.
You can plan travel throughout 2021.
Right.
So you have 3 more years to plan your travel if you do want to take advantage of this amazing sweet spot. The other thing is, we literally have no idea what Air Canada is going to do with the new program.
Right.
So I don't think there's too much point to speculating as to what they're going to do.
Right.
We just know that this mini round the world thing is excellent right now. It might go away, so we got to do everything we can to maximize it.
So would you recommend everyone to burn all their Aeroplan miles by June 2020 and book it on Aeroplan Mini Around the World then?
Well, I mean, if that works for you, right? If you are interested in using this very maximal value way of using your points and doing like a trip that, you know, could be once in a lifetime, right? It's a pretty special trip that you get to fly around the world in business class.
Right.
Then yeah, definitely, it's one of the best uses of your miles right now. That's possible.
Now, moving on to another topic, hotel chains. What is your favorite hotel chain, Ricky?
Probably Marriott these days.
Marriott?
Yeah. Since they acquired Starwood, they're, first of all, the world's biggest hotel chain. So
right.
They have a hotel virtually anywhere I want to go. Secondly, it's probably the best hotel program for Canadians to earn miles, because there's 2 credit cards here in Canada that let you earn like 50,000 points right off the bat.
For Marriott or hotel chains?
Marriott points.
And which cards would they be?
So yeah, American Express, I guess it's called SPG card still.
I think it's
even
still
though
Starwood,
SPG is the old program, but
right.
Yeah, those 2 cards, SPG Personal and Business.
Yeah.
Good for racking up the points here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And is that the only way that people can get either cheap hotel or free hotel? Is just SPG, or is there any other method that they can do?
I mean, you can sign up for the MBNA Best Western.
Yeah.
But, you know, Best Westerns are good for like, I used it in Mongolia once, because there was literally no other hotel, Marriott hotel or any hotel that I could use for
But
points.
they had a Best Western.
But there was a Best Western. So they kind of show up in surprising places around the world, and they can be very useful in that regard. But I think if you truly want to maximize your free hotel stays, focus on your energy on Marriott, because they do provide the best value.
So the lesson learned here is that focus on Marriott, but if you plan on going someplace weird, get the Best Western just in case.
Yeah.
Because you never know. So what's next for Prince of Travel? What are you planning on? What project are you working on for your blog moving forward, since you're going full time with this?
Yeah, I'm hoping to bring the website into the realm of like the top resource for Canadians who are looking to travel the world on points, right?
Right.
So easily accessible guides and tips that I'm already providing through the steady blog posts on where to go in the world, where to stay, how to fly there, how to use your points for those things. But also additionally, I could look into in the future helping people redeem points for their awards, right? Because that's a service that's provided, like award bookings.
Yes.
It's definitely something that takes a lot of time.
Do you like doing that?
I probably spend most of my days doing that these days.
You're doing it already.
I'm doing it all the time.
Yeah.
So I might as well, help other people out.
Right.
And yeah, like looking into providing services like that and helping, not everybody has all the free time in the world to dedicate their time to this stuff.
Right.
So there's definitely, a win-win there that I could see.
Yes. So your goal then is ultimately you want to be the ultimate Canadian resource for points and miles.
The ultimate.
And you want to provide a service for individuals who might want to book an Aeroplan Mini around the world, but they don't necessarily want to take the time to plan it because maybe they hate doing that sort of things, and Ricky loves it. And you also want to provide live events, and that's essentially kind of the core goal that you have for the Prince of Travel brand moving forward.
Those are the things that are in the pipeline right now. Yeah.
Awesome, man. So if people want to get a hold of you or reach you, how can they contact you? What are your social? Do you have social media that you?
Yeah,
that you
totally. Facebook.com/Prince of Travel, Instagram.com/Prince of Travel. It's really easy to get in touch with me. Go on my website. There's a contact form in the top right-hand corner, and I like to think that I'm, like we said, a really nice person.
Yeah.
And I try my best to respond to everybody's emails. No matter where you are on the learning curve, there's definitely value to be had from exchanging ideas with somebody, and I'm always here to help.
Perfect. And in the very core, in your sense as Ricky,
sure,
what does being free means in terms of traveling or living free?
I guess it would be the ability to, I guess for me, it's something close to what I am experiencing right now, right?
Yeah.
The ability to go anywhere in the world at any moment.
Yeah.
in however method I choose, right? Whether that's economy, business, first class, whether that's a luxury trip, whether that's a quick trip back home to see my family, whether that's just a long weekend in a different continent. That freedom is is something that I've pursued and I am pursuing throughout my life, and I think miles and points, since we have these opportunities at our fingertips, we have to do our best to maximize them.
Now, one last question.
Sure.
What is your final message to everyone? Anything that you would like to say?
I usually conclude these things with the message that it is truly amazing that we have these opportunities at our fingertips. Like, truly, it's something that should never exist in the first place. If you think about efficient markets, right? If you think about a well-functioning society, almost, these are truly golden opportunities that we have. And so if you do have the means and the financial responsibility to be able to take advantage of them, by all means, maximize them while they're here, because they could disappear tomorrow, right? All these banks could say, no, you're not allowed to have more than one credit card at a time, or get another sign-up bonus over and over again, and that could everything could change overnight.
Right.
So do your best right now, live in the moment, and earn and burn.
So don't wait, because it might not be here tomorrow. Kind of like what Pitbull says.
Totally.
Thanks for coming out, Ricky,
Thank
and
you.
I
Thank
look
you for
forward
having
to coming to your event.
Cheers.
All right.